Yeah. Copy.
So today we are discussing
audio kwaje?
Cash flow habits.
Poa. Andrew? A very good evening and thank you for joining us. Welcome to This is Metro Business Café.
Check 1, 1, 2, and 2. We're talking about free cash flowing assets today. Can you read me? Am I okay? For sure. Oh, okay. So today we'll be discussing about assets, liabilities, and the free cash flowing asset. Are we good now? Should I try again?
We can add
They say when it starts making sense, then every shilling counts.
Indeed, every shilling does count. However, there's a more important question that we need to ask ourselves. What counts more? Is it the physical amount or is it your mindset?
Doesn't matter how much it is, but where you put it and what you do with it.
Starting this and every Thursday, join us on our live stream from 7 to 9 p.m. as we discuss matters money, business and wealth creation on our live stream only on Metro Business Café. foundation na hii ndio powder.
Gani?
This is my
See, I was
Oh, okay. They say when it starts making sense, then every shilling counts.
Indeed, every shilling does count. However, there's a more important question that we need to ask ourselves. What counts more? Is it the physical amount or is it your mindset?
Doesn't matter how much it is, where you put it, and what you do with it.
Starting this and every Thursday, join us on our live stream from 7 to 9 p.m. as we discuss matters money, business and wealth creation on our live stream only on Metro Business Café.
Someni vijana na muongeze pia bidii, mwisho wa kusoma mtapata kazi nzuri sana.
Tonight we continue with episode 2 of Changing Our Minds About Money.
And it's going to be a very interactive session, and we are going to share key insights on the different ways of making money genuinely.
Money is a commodity that you need for the rest of your life. You can't run away from that. So the fact that now it's something you're going to use for the rest of your life, then naturally managing it becomes a life skill. What is your value per minute? The mind does not know the age. It cannot differentiate a child or a grown-up. So even those who are old understand that this is a changing moment for you. A stands for employee. The second one is called S, and S stands for self-employed or small business. And then the third one is called B, which stands for big business. And finally we have I, which stands for investments. Now, if you think around any business or any way of making money that is genuine, you'll realize that they fall into one of these 4 categories. So when we talk about an employee, we are looking at someone who has a job. Your time that you spend is what equates to money. If you don't go to work, you don't get paid.
Yes.
Now, if you come to S, you are the job. Now, if you move to B, we say you own a system. So that's where it's been defined as a big business. Now, finally, for the investments, you own investments. The idea behind this cash flow quadrant is this: step 1.
Yes.
Step 2. Okay? Then step 3.
If you'd like to talk to us, all you have to do is SMS us. Our SMS number is 0790 000 333, is 0790 000 333.
Someni vijana na muongeze pia bidii, mwisho wa kusoma mtapata kazi nzuri sana.
Tonight we continue with episode 2 of Changing Our Minds About Money.
And it's going to be a very interactive session, and we are going to share key insights on the different ways of making money genuinely.
Money is a commodity that you need for the rest of your life. You can't run away from that. So the fact that now it's something you're going to use for the rest of your life, then naturally managing it becomes a life skill. What is your value per minute? The mind does not know the age. It cannot differentiate a child or a grown-up. So even those who are old understand that this is a changing moment for you. A stands for employee. The second one is called S, and S stands for self-employed or small business. And then the third one is called B, which stands for big business. And finally we have I, which stands for investments. Now, if you think around any business or any way of making money that is genuine, you'll realize that they fall into one of these 4 categories. So when we talk about an employee, we are looking at someone who has a job. Your time that you spend is what equates to money. If you don't go to work, you don't get paid.
Yes.
Now, if you come to S, you are the job. Now, if you move to B, we say you own a system. So that's where it's been defined as a big business. Now finally, for the investments, you own investments. The idea behind this cash flow quadrant is this: step 1.
Yes.
Step 2. Okay? Then step 3.
If you'd like to talk to us, all you have to do is SMS us. Our SMS number is 0790 000 333, is 0790 000 333.
We have members who are employed, and we have those ones that are business-based. Business-based. And definitely, like I've said, there's a history. And for example, you'll find that the customer X, Y, and Z, especially like the ones who hold huge deposits with us, these are deposits that they have been able to acquire over time. It's not that it's money that they just brought in as a lump sum amount.
They say when it starts making sense, then every shilling counts.
Indeed, every shilling does count. However, there's a more important question that we need to ask ourselves. What counts more? Is it the physical amount or is it your mindset?
Doesn't matter how much it is, but where you put it and what you do with it.
Starting this and every Thursday, join us on our live stream from 7 to 9 p.m. as we discuss matters money, business and wealth creation on our live stream only on Metro Business Café.
Someni vijana na muongeze pia bidii, mwisho wa kusoma mtapata kazi nzuri sana.
Tonight we continue with episode 2 of Changing Our Minds About Money.
And it's going to be a very interactive session, and we are going to share key insights on the different ways of making money genuinely.
Money is a commodity that you need for the rest of your life. You can't run away from that. So the fact that now it's something you're going to use for the rest of your life, then naturally managing it becomes a life skill. What is your value per minute? The mind does not know the age. It cannot differentiate a child or a grown-up. So even those who are old understand that this is a changing moment for you. A stands for employee. The second one is called S, and S stands for self-employed or small business. And then the third one is called B, which stands for big business. And finally we have I, which stands for investments. Now, if you think around any business or any way of making money that is genuine, you'll realize that they fall into one of these 4 categories. So when we talk about an employee, we are looking at someone who has a job. Your time that you spend is what equates to money. If you don't go to work, you don't get paid.
Yes.
Now, if you come to S, you are the job. Now, if you move to B, we say you own a system. So that's where it's been defined as a big business. Now finally, for the investments, you own investments. The idea behind this cash flow quadrant is this: step 1.
Yes.
Step 2. Okay? Then step 3.
If you'd like to talk to us, all you have to do is SMS us. Our SMS number is 0790 000 333, is 0790 000 333.
We have members who are employed, and we have those ones that are business-based. Business-based. And definitely, like I've said, there's a history. And for example, you'll find that the customer X, Y, and Z, especially like the ones who hold huge deposits with us, these are deposits that they have been able to acquire over time. It's not that it's money that they just brought in as a lump sum amount.
someni vijana na muongeze pia bidii, mwisho wa kusoma mtapata kazi nzuri sana.
Tonight we continue with episode 2 of Changing Our Minds About Money.
And it's going to be a very interactive session, and we are going to share key insights on the different ways of making money genuinely.
Money is a commodity that you need for the rest of your life. You can't run away from that. So the fact that now it's something you're going to use for the rest of your life, then naturally managing it becomes a life skill. What is your value per minute? The mind does not know the age. It cannot differentiate a child or a grown-up. So even those who are old understand that this is a changing moment for you. A stands for employee. The second one is called S, and S stands for self-employed or small business. And then the third one is called B, which stands for big business. And finally we have I, which stands for investments. Now, if you think around any business or any way of making money that is genuine, you'll realize that they fall into one of these 4 categories. So when we talk about an employee, we are looking at someone who has a job. Your time that you spend is what equates to money. If you don't go to work, you don't get paid.
Yes.
Now, if you come to S, you are the job. Now, if you move to B, we say you own a system. So that's where it's been defined as a big business. Now, finally, for the investments, you own investments. The idea behind this cash flow quadrant is this: step 1.
Yes.
Step 2. Okay? Then step 3.
If you'd like to talk to us, all you have to do is SMS us. Our SMS number is 0790 000 333, is 0790 000 333.
The word cash comes from the word called currency, which means current to flow. If you do not understand how money flows, it will pass right by you and you're not going to be able to catch it. I'll be teaching you about that next week.
In writing to us. To all of you who've been asking questions, we say, Asante Sana, this is your program and we will be doing this to educate you and to have a chat with you about changing our mindset about money. My name is Michael Njenga. This, as I told you, is the Metro Business Cafe. And tonight we have Benson Mwangi, CEO, Metropolitan National Sacco. Say hi to the viewers.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to our this week's show. And like Mike Njenga has said, today will be our third session. Previously, we have taken through our viewers the very important topics on money, mindset. And last week, we went through a very important topic that covered on the 4 different ways of making money genuinely. So this week, we're going to take you through what we call assets, liabilities, and the 3 different cash flow habits. And I believe we are going to share some very insightful moments.
Very. Thank you. And karibu sana. We also have Andrew Kibe. Andrew Kibe is the founder, Dreamers Club Africa. We call him Mwalimu, by the way, because of he's been taking us through class, through our episodes, and everybody is asking, how do we do this? How do we go back and get to see the other episodes? We'll be telling you in just a moment. Karibu sana, Andrew. Say hi to the viewers tonight.
Thank you so much, Mike. Good evening, viewers. It's an honor to be here today again, and I look forward to taking you through what the bonus has just mentioned. That will be assets, liabilities, and the 3 cash flowing habits, of which each one of us has one. So if you have the wrong ones, no matter what class you go to, you will never achieve the financial freedom that you're looking for. So I look forward to teaching you through those 3, and then I'm going to connect that with what we started by talking about the mindset. So if you get your mindset properly, then automatically you're going to find yourself moving to the right, correct path of the cash flowing habit that is going to actually bring about the financial peace that you aim for. Thank you.
I love it. I like the way we always go back to the mindset.
Correct.
I love it. We have to go back to the mindset. We have to go back to what am I thinking about? What are my thoughts, and how do I bring them out? And liabilities, assets, liabilities. Every time I come to the Sacco, to the banking halls, and somebody talks to me about assets, talks to me about liabilities, takes me back to when we were doing business education. When somebody comes to you and you're trying to educate them about assets and liabilities, where exactly do we begin?
Normally, an asset would be, for example, what the customer brings in, partly a security, whatever they give to us in form of deposits. That is an asset to them, and that's what at a later time or date. That is what ideally should be able to support them financially. For liabilities is when this person actually borrows money from us. To us, that is an asset, because we have given that person money, and now to the borrower, it becomes a liability.
A liability.
Yes.
Because I have to pay.
Because the person eventually has to settle down this liability. But what Kibe will be taking us through today, it's totally different. And that's why I've said we're going to share some very insightful moments as far as assets and liabilities are concerned, because from his perspective, it will sound very different. Yes.
All right. We'll be getting into that. Remember, you can talk to us. Our SMS number is 0790000333. You can also WhatsApp us on the same line. Remember, you can talk to us on 0790000333. You can SMS or WhatsApp, or you can talk to us on our Facebook accounts. We are live on all our Facebook accounts. We are live tonight. So remember, 0790000333 is our SMS line, and as well as our WhatsApp. Karibu Mwalimu, tell us assets, liabilities. You know, every time we're doing a new episode, to me I feel like I want to write this. I'm in class. Assets and liabilities.
Okay.
Sometimes we don't even know what are assets and what are liabilities.
And that points out to what we said in the first episode. My people perish due to what?
Lack of knowledge.
Okay.
Yes.
So knowledge is very key. And that's why this is what Metropolitan is doing to their members and the viewers is very, very important. Because last week I received a lot of calls when we posed that question, what is your value per minute? So that triggered a lot of people reflecting back and feeling like they've been wasting all their years. So it's all about building up the knowledge. But before we get into assets and liabilities, kindly allow me just to do a small summary so that the last 2 episodes we've covered, people are able to appreciate how it's fitting into liabilities and assets, or the topics we're going to be covering today. So the first one is all built up from what I call the dreamers, formula for skills. So we said skills is equals to the right thoughts, which points out to the right mindset, plus the right knowledge, plus practice. So the first topic was dealing with this component of right thoughts. Because if you're programmed with the wrong thoughts, you will struggle for a very long time. There's very small chances that you're going to turn things around. And what I wanted the viewers and members to realize is that the mind is divided into 2 parts. So the subconscious is not something that people are aware of. And that's where the biggest problem comes in, because that's where the programs, since you're a child, are based on that. So every time you're struggling to do something, you shouldn't give up. It's not that it's not working. It's a pointer that the subconscious has been built for so many years to work against what the conscious mind wants to achieve. So when you give up, you're basically telling the subconscious, continue with what you've been doing. So don't expect change. So the idea, once you understand this, then you realize, oh, the conscious wants this. Let me work towards changing or replacing or reprogramming what the subconscious is there. So it was very important for us to understand that who we are creators. And we are always creating. Even now, you're still creating.
We are creators.
We are all creators, and we are always creating. As long as you're thinking, you've opened up the engine of creation. So what's very important here is to understand what are the thoughts that you're always carrying with you. And today I want to emphasize to those who've retired and those who are about to retire. As we continue with this discussion, I've been receiving these messages that, for us time is up. So the question I want to ask you is, what do you mean time is up? Because what you're telling the subconscious mind or the sponsoring thought is, it's too late for me to change. So that's the thought you're holding. Remember, the mind does not know how old you are. It cannot differentiate a child and a grown-up. It only works the way God designed it to do. Attract what this person is storing, what you're holding in your thought. So when you come and tell me, time is up for me, you're already telling me the sponsoring thought is, I can't do it. So what are you going to attract? Okay? So we need to change that. That's why we started by talking about the mindset. For you to appreciate how powerful it is, the mind does not work the way a physical body does, that it ages. No. It only knows how to attract. So if you come with that belief system that, it's too late and all that, you've already made a decision for yourself in your mind. So you'll keep attracting that which you are trying to avoid. And that's why I talked about the subconscious and the conscious. So we need to come out of that. Okay? So if we go further than that, then we talked about, having understood that, we said, going forward now, we've dealt with the first component of the right thought. So now we move to the right knowledge. Okay? At least we've covered the basis of how we need to start changing things. Okay?
Yeah.
So now we're going to the right knowledge. So the right knowledge, after you've actually developed the correct mindset, or you're in the process of creating the correct mindset, then becomes, because I want financial peace, I want financial freedom. Now, what are the possible ways of how I can get money? And this is where the second episode came in, where we talked about the cash flow quadrant. So we showed the 4 ways of how you can earn money. Now, if you look back in our history, you will realize that we've been programmed just to focus on one, which was E, which is employment.
Yes.
And that's why even last week you sang for me that song of
So
many vijana. That's what came in, okay?
Yes.
It's a program.
Yes.
So if you find yourself in a situation where you do not fit into the E, most people give up because they've been conditioned to think this is the only way. And that's why I like even the new curriculum that Dr. Matiang'i came up with, where he's trying to say that you can't put all animals and ask them to climb a tree. Okay, the fish won't be able to do that. But if you ask them to actually, swim, the fish is going to win. So I like the design about this because now it's trying to divert and try to tap into different. We are not all built to be, academics. So that was one of the very big flaws in our education system. And therefore, it's important to start showing people these different ways. And once you get a picture of all the 4, now you ask yourself, where is the financial piece? And so we looked at the left side and the right side. So we saw the left side, people are chasing the cart.
Chasing the cart.
Yes.
I remember.
Yeah, on the right side,
Yes.
they're finding clever ways of attracting the cart. We saw the left side, people are working too hard. On the right-hand side, people are working smart.
And money is working.
And exactly.
Yes.
All right? I mean, since you're a kid, you've always been told, work hard, work hard, work hard. I mean, think about someone who does mjengo from morning. These guys are there at 5. They leave, they go in when it's dark and they leave when it's dark. How much do they get paid? But they're working so hard. Mindset.
So hard work is for donkeys.
That's the point. So you need to be smart and think of ways of how you can do things and get a lot of cash coming in. That's why I'm talking about the right knowledge. So once you understand these 4, you ask yourself, financial freedom is found on the right side. So that already tells you, I need to have one leg on this side, the minimum. So one on the left and one on the right. So once you tell your mind that, remember as you're thinking, you're starting to attract.
So you attract what you think.
Yes, your mind is a magnet.
Yes.
Okay? Now, the fact that people did not have that knowledge of talking about the cash flow quadrant, they only knew about employment. So the thoughts was, nipate kazi, niajiriwe na kazi. And that's why this thing about tunaomba serikali, tunaomba, it will never works. The government is not there to give you money. That's not their function. Them is to provide an environment where you can excel if you have the right mindset. Okay? So we need to move people out of that wrong mindset and put them in the correct one. So once you have these 2, one leg is on the right and the other one is on the left side, now you ask yourself, how do I come up with a plan to move to where I want to be?
Yes.
All right? Of course, the best will be to have both legs on the right-hand side. So once you identify that, this is where now we bring in today's topic. So we started the mindset, now we've known where to get the income from, we've seen the differences. So the next point now today will be about assets, liabilities, and the 3 cash flowing assets.
Before you get there, Benson,
Yes.
there are people who always seem to be attracting debts.
Yes.
And you're always chasing this person, you're always calling, you're always saying, and by the time they are almost through with their loan, they have already asked for a top-up.
Yes.
Because there's always something, a hole that seems not to be being filled.
Yes.
And it's as if they are always attracted by all these apps that are going around in this country. Yes. People borrowing. We're being told in a day, billions of shillings are being borrowed by Kenyans. How do we change now then our mindset from just attracting debts to, because when I come and borrow to you, it's an asset to you, it's a liability to me, as you said. Then how do I turn the liability that I've taken from you to be an asset? Even before, I know he's going to take us to the board.
Yes, Mike in our first episode, one of the key strong points that came out from Andrew's presentation is that we are net borrowers, and therefore we don't save a lot. And you know, when we realized that that was a big issue that had to be addressed within, you know, our systems, particularly our members, that's when the board sat down and said, we need to do something, and we need to do things differently. So we are here, and this is ideally what this you know, financial literacy course is meant to achieve. That we want to change that mindset of us being net borrowers. We want our members, potential members, our viewers, you know, to take a different approach and embrace the whole aspect of savings, because the one way of you know, actualizing your projects or maybe your objectives is through accumulation of savings, and then you can utilize that money for you know, to ensure that you know, you're able to undertake the various projects. The other way is through borrowing. So most of us have taken the approach of borrowing, and this time around we want to give them an option through the financial literacy education that you're taking them through, that they consider savings as another way of ensuring that they're able to undertake their investment projects. Yes.
We're net borrowers. It then makes me feel very sad when I start thinking that as an investor, the only first thing I'm thinking about is to how to start an app where people will borrow. So on one hand, I'm investing on people's borrowing.
Yes.
So this mindset, when somebody comes to you and says, I want to start saving, you know, a Sacco is where I just come and put my money. And then while I'm at it, I'm not doing it because I want to accumulate wealth, and I'm not doing it because I want, by the end of the year, for you to send me some nice dividends. Yes. I'm doing it so that if I have 300,000, you'll give me triple the money.
Yes. Let me say one thing is that Saccos are not, they're actually non-profit making organizations. So whoever mooted the idea, you know, of forming Saccos and starting Saccos in this country and even, you know, worldwide, is a vehicle that is meant to pull resources together, you know, amongst the like-minded persons. And when these resources have been pulled together, then members of that particular Sacco, or what we call in other countries the credit unions, then they're able to, you know, to enjoy now the resources that have been provided by all members. Because again, look at, when you come and borrow 3 times what you have saved, then it means that the times 2 that you have borrowed is money that has been availed by another person, because it's not your money, isn't it?
Correct.
So we need now to embrace that culture of, you know, being able to pool more, so that now our colleague here is able to access that particular loan. And again, that's why it's very important when we see our members accessing loans, we also make sure that we have put in place checks and balances and a very good mechanism just to ensure that whatever is being lent out there, we're able to collect that money in full. But ideally, Saccos are not meant to make profit. And what we normally do, and this is what all other Saccos do, at the end of the year, if there's any money to be, if there's any surplus, it is normally distributed to members in form of dividends and what we call interest rebates. And obviously, part of it is plowed back for maybe future expansion plans, and maybe to support other business growth initiatives of the institution.
We'll come back to that point of plowing back. When you tell me this time round would like to plow back your money, what exactly does it mean? How then does it become an asset to me? Andrew, we've just learned something new, that every time I go and borrow from the Sacco,
correct,
it's an asset to them, it's a liability to me.
Yes.
Take us through now, assets and liability.
Okay.
I love this point where this is a point where I'm very happy.
Yes, pay attention now.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Time to pay attention. Time to do this. Remember, You can still talk to us. Our SMS number is 0790000333 is our SMS line. It is also our WhatsApp line. I'm seeing people have already started talking to us and asking questions. 0790000333. You can SMS, you can WhatsApp us, talk to us, tell us what you'd like to hear tonight. Andrew.
Thank you. Okay, so having summarized episode 1 about the mindset, and the second one we looked at the the possible areas of making money genuinely. Now we move to the third point, and what I want to emphasize today as we start is, if you wish for financial freedom, there are 5 key words that you must know and understand very well.
So we first of all underline financial freedom.
Correct.
Okay.
So there are 5 words that you must understand and know very well. All the others you can even forget about them, but these 5 are very, very key. And the first 2 are assets and the second one is liabilities. So we're going to start with these 2. Okay? Now, there's a way finance books and lectures and all that defines these 2 words. But today we're going to have a very different definition of these 2. And for the sake of financial freedom, I will urge all members and viewers to stick to the definitions that we're going to give today. So let's start with the assets. So what is an asset? Simply put, in a very simple way, an asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. It's as simple as that. Anything that puts money in your pocket is an asset. Liabilities is the opposite of asset. Anything that removes money from your pocket
It's a liability.
is a liability. So when you're thinking about these 2 words, what I'd like the viewers to do is, I want you to think about your pocket and the movement of money. That is it. Okay? So if something is bringing money into your pocket, that's an asset. If it's removing money out of your pocket, that's a liability. Okay? So let's take an example of this cup. Okay? Now, if I've bought coffee, what happens? What is the movement of my money from my pocket?
You've spent, you've removed money.
So that coffee becomes
An asset, a liability, because you have removed money to buy the coffee.
exactly.
Yes.
Now, what about if I'm the one who was selling that coffee?
Well, it becomes an asset because there is money getting into your pocket. Yes.
So it's about into and out of. If you try to mix this with what is taught in the finance, you'll find yourself getting mixed up because there's so much jargon, technicals they use. Forget about that. Just look at that simple definition. And so to make you understand the power around this, because financial freedom is about the movement or cash flows, which we'll be covering later on. So is the money coming into or going out? As simple as that. So let me come to you, Mike. Let's think of a car. Is a car an asset or a liability?
Well, it depends how I'm using it. It's for me to cruise around.
It's for cruising?
It's a liability.
It's a liability.
Yeah.
But doesn't finance teach us that a car is an
It's
asset?
an asset. Yes, that's what they do.
And that's why I said the formula for dreamer skill is the right mindset plus the right knowledge. So already in finance we are seeing a flow because they make people believe a car is an asset. In fact, in finance they call it a depreciating asset. That's not the correct way. So that's what I was talked about. You can have the wrong knowledge and that can mess you up in the future. Okay? So a car depends on where you're standing. So if it's just a personal use, I mean, you're always putting fuel.
Yes.
If it spoils, you take it to the garage. So it's always removing money from
The pocket.
that becomes a liability.
Okay.
However, if you take the same car and convert it to an Uber, what happens?
Becomes an asset.
Becomes an asset.
So money starts flowing into your pocket. So that converts that car to become an asset. So that's how we need to start looking at everything we are doing on a daily basis and the things that we own. A house,
Yes.
is it an asset or a liability?
Again, depends. If I have a house in Shags, where I only go once a year,
That's a liability.
that's a liability.
It's a liability. In fact, let's make it more interesting.
Yes.
Let's look at these three houses. Okay? So this is 1, 2, 3. Let's assume you're paying rent here. You live in this house and you pay rent.
Yes.
Is this an asset or a liability?
It is a liability.
Good. Now let's assume you've built this house and you're living in it. Is this an asset or a liability?
Depends on how you look at it.
Go ahead,
Because you'll
explain.
be paying for utilities.
Okay, you'll be
That-
paying
in that
for,
Utilities.
so money is moving where?
From the pocket. Yes.
But what does finance teach us about a house?
It's an asset.
It's an asset.
Exactly. Wrong knowledge. You see?
Yes.
So many people tell me, it's an asset, it's my house. I'm not
Moving
paying
there.
rent. They forget they're paying utilities. You have to pay land rates
Yeah.
every year. So it's removing money from your... So this is also a liability. The third one, you've rented this house to someone.
As an asset.
It's an asset.
Exactly. Because money is coming into your pocket. So simply this is how we need to start looking at things. Okay? If you're looking for financial freedom, this is the way to go about that. So now, what I want to bring out from here is something very interesting that the CEO mentioned when you're starting. Okay?
Though I'll still bring you back as we move on.
That's...
Let's put a bookmark on that asset, because we keep on hearing these big words that that's a dead asset. That's dead capital.
Yes.
That's dead this, dead this.
Yes.
How can an asset be dead? How can the capital be dead? We'll come back.
We'll
Is
come
there
back to that. Excellent, excellent. So now what most people, the mindset that we need to bring out, that is the right one, is you need to look at either a Sacco point of view and you as an individual. Now, when you buy a car and you keep paying the Sacco every month, you as an individual, money is moving from your pocket.
Yes.
Therefore, that car becomes a liability to you.
Yes.
However, what's happening to the Sacco?
And they're getting money from me.
Money is coming to their pocket.
So it's an asset.
So to them, a car is a...
It's an asset. It's an asset.
So when you hear financial institutions teaching people a car is an asset, it's not that they're wrong. The only thing is you don't realize they're looking at it from
Yep.
A different
point of view.
Point of view.
Yeah.
And that's what needs to come out on people, okay? This is very, very important for people to see, okay? So now we come back here. So we've given an example of a car and a house. So acha nikuchokoze sasa. Your children, are they assets or liabilities?
Well, my own children. Oh my. Now this is where
We are on air.
Now, I know a lot of people wouldn't like to look at children and things like those ones. But for the sake of having financial freedom, if you're really thinking about this, it helps to look at them in terms of this too. Because your children will always be asking for things. There's school fees. There's all these things. So if you create that mind in you, then it helps you prepare well than someone who doesn't look at it that way. Because it helps you to think about the future starting from today. You know, kids will always be asking for things. whether it's school fees and all those things. So you can start planning early enough. But if you block your mind and no, how can you call children liabilities? You're shying away, you're running away from the reality of what is.
The hard truth.
So what happens is a lot of parents get hit. Oh, my child is 3 years supposed to go to school. Now they start knocking at the Sacco. Can I take some loan for school fees? But if you look at it the way I'm trying to explain here, it will always be eating you. Hey, how many liabilities do I have? So kids, I need to start preparing early enough. Because remember, what you think about you bring. So if you're thinking of them as that, it will constantly be reminding you to start even saving early for the education. All right?
Yes.
So it's not that I'm bringing them out as liabilities in a bad way. It's a matter of just preparing your mind, because that's where everything starts from. Okay?
Yes.
So those are the kids. Now let's move to your folks at up country. Are they liabilities or assets?
Again, we're on air, but now after seeing what you've said, you've just said, yes.
Exactly. So this helps you and I, the working nation. If you have this mindset, you start now looking in the future and saying, my parents are aging. I need to do something because I know they'll need my assistance. So even as you're planning your future in terms of finance, you remember to place them. You need to do something around this because you know what comes with age. So mind-wise, it helps you prepare again around this. So looking at these ones, it's very easy to start now shaping how you can end up achieving your financial freedom through looking at this. And the secret is as follows. Now at Dreamers Club Africa, we have what we call money rules. So there are certain rules we've come up with where we train the people we teach to actually follow those rules, because they'll naturally lead you to actually financial freedom. The third rule says, always aim to increase your assets. Okay? It's a simple rule. Always aim to increase your assets, because by virtue of increasing your assets, you're starting to build wealth. So aim to increase your assets and minimize your liabilities.
But now, and please allow me to interject.
That's all right.
So I'm increasing my assets, which will lower my liabilities.
The more you increase this will start going down.
Yet, on the other page, we spoke about houses.
Yes.
We spoke about, now let's coming into land.
Okay.
I keep on increasing land. I want to buy land left, right, and center.
Yes.
Within this country.
Yes.
To me, they become assets. But at some point, because I'm always, my workers keep telling me, hakuna,
yes,
tuma iliisha,
yes,
fanya ilifanyika. Then again, it's as if I'm juggling my assets
and
my liabilities. So how do we go about it?
So that's a very good point. So as you're focusing on assets, you move to the next step. And the next step is, of course, this asset you're going to remove money, isn't it? But the reason why you're removing is because you expect it to start bringing money to you at some point. Okay? So the idea is, the money that should be coming from these assets, in your view and your calculations, should go ahead and actually, surpass the amount that you used to purchase it.
Okay.
Okay? That's what the definition of asset come in. If I purchase a car today, of course, I'm removing money from my pocket. But if my intention is to make it an Uber, it's my expectation that it will start generating revenue for me on a regularly basis. So based on my plan, I have a cutoff point where I know I'm going to break even. And once I break even, I know from there now money will just be trickling in. So that's my profit. So that's how you define this. Okay?
Okay.
Now, based on the question you've asked, we need to break these assets into two parts. The first one, we call it the cash flowing assets.
Cash
Flowing assets.
Okay.
And the second one will be non-cash flowing assets.
Uh-huh.
So what you do when you're starting is, you try and build what we call the cash flowing assets. So cash flowing assets are assets that are bringing money to you on a regularly basis. Non-cash flowing asset means, yes, they'll increase in value, but they're not bringing money to you on a regularly basis. So look at these two people here. Let's assume we have Bwana CEO here, and we have Mike on this other end. Okay? So both of you get an opportunity to buy land.
Yes.
And let's assume that land is going to cost you something like 5 million. So both of you decide to take up
A loan facility.
a loan facility. Okay? Now, based on the projections, you've been told that in 10 years' time, this land value will go up to 15 million.
Okay.
Okay? So the reason why you go now to Metropolitan National Sacco to get that loan, it's because in your projections in 10 years' time, the value of this land will have gone up to 15.
To 15 million, yes.
So both of you are purchasing this land with the view of selling it after 10 years, so that you're able to make how much?
10
like
million.
10 million.
10 million, okay?
Yes.
Now, you, Mike, you do that. So you buy the land, and then you wait for 10 years. You sell it at 15 million. How much have you made?
I made 10 million.
You've made 10 million.
Yes.
Okay? Now, Bwana Benson, CEO, says, why should I wait for 10 years for this land to appreciate in value? 10 years, isn't there something I can be doing around it?
Meanwhile.
With it? Meanwhile.
Yes.
So he figures out, I can start doing farming. Okay? So probably gets another loan and then start growing maybe tomatoes, whatever it is. Okay?
As long as not quails.
Yes, yes. So now what happens is every year, let's assume he makes a profit of $500,000 out of that land.
Yes.
Okay? So year one, he makes 500,000. Year two, he makes another 500,000. So in 10 years' time, how much will he have made?
An extra 5 million.
An extra 5 million.
So how much will the CEO have at the end after he sells this?
So he'll have made 15 million and returned his capital.
Okay, so the profit will be 10 million, just like you, correct?
Yes.
But then there will be what?
An additional 5 million as income.
As income. So this land here, what Bwana CEO has done is, he's moved out of the left side of our cash flow quadrant and moved to the right side. So he worked smart and he figured a way of these 10 years as it's appreciating to turn this land to become a cash flowing asset. You on this other hand, it's a non-cash flowing.
So I've decided, bring it, let me stay with it for 10 years.
Yes.
Then I'll sell it at 15.
Correct.
He's decided, meanwhile, as I'm waiting for these 10 years,
Yes.
I could be doing something.
Exactly. Now the problem is most Kenyans have been brought up with this.
To Nunue to speculate.
Okay?
You go to Kamulu, buy, we speculate.
Yes, you speculate. And this is why you find the Chinese come here and they do something and you're like, wow, how come we've never thought of this? We could have been making money out of, how come we never thought about that? Again, mindset.
Mindset.
So when you come to things like what you're calling dead capital, it's about this.
So now mine becomes a dead capital because it's non-cash flow.
What is it doing? You're just waiting for it to. I mean, think about it. Let's assume we have this 5 million. Then we've been brought up with the society that always asks us, umejenga nyumbani?
Yes.
You're aging. Umejenga? Yes. So because of that upbringing and the society thinking, you go put up a home of 5 million. Okay? And you live in Nairobi. So every year, phone calls are just coming in. You know, tuma pesa. What's happening to the money? Okay? You're not living there.
Tuma
Okay.
kunanyesha.
Something has happened like
Yes.
that. There's a worker who's staying there to make sure, the compound is clean.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
Does it not make sense for you to take this money and make it work for you today? Such that you focus that I'm going to build this house using the same amount, but for now let me make it work for me. Such that by the time when I'm about to retire, this has grown to this.
And it will be so easy for me now to...
Now you can take your 5 million and build the house because now you have a reason to go there. You get?
Yes.
So you build the house and you use it because now you've retired, you've decided to go home, and you have extra 5 million. So when you say you build a house today, let's say I'm 30, I'm building a house today and I'm going to retire at 60. So